Hello there everyone, Just History Guy here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Today I'm going over my top 10 favorite Shin Megami Tensei games. This is one of, if not my favorite game series of all time. I have so much love for each and every one of these games, and can recommend them all for one reason or another. Before we get into it though, a few things to mention. One, this is just my opinion, and I would love to see yours in the comments below. And two, as the title says, this is just SMT games, no Persona games, because I already made a list for that, which I highly recommend checking out. So with that, let's get into it. Number 10, Shin Megami Tensei 2. We start with the second SMT game, and one that's an improvement over its predecessor in every way. Now, the game is old, and it shows, but the fun is there, with every alignment ending being absolutely wicked and amazing, especially for the time. With you taking on the role of Alf, and exploring a dystopian Tokyo that was devastated by nuclear war. SMT 2 really shows how the series became what it is today, with you exploring themes of morality, religion, and the nature of humanity, all in improved ways over the original. Now, the game is definitely a hard recommend to casual fans, but any die-hard SMT fan who can take some jank and age should try this one out. Soul Hackers. Moving on to the games that show me why I love this series, we have Soul Hackers. Now this game is, I think, the best game to experience classic SMT. Soul Hackers is in the perfect spot to show you old school SMT with it still being modern enough that it doesn't become painful to play. The game has an excellent cyberpunk aesthetic that just encapsulates the 90s sci-fi dawn of the computer age feel. The game is just cool and fun with great characters in the Spookies and Namissa being a fan favorite. The gameplay is first-person dungeon crawling though, and has a more traditional turn-based battle system than the future games. Now, I played a bit of its sequel but got distracted, so I'll have to come back and finish it at some point. Next, we have Strange Journey Redux, another first-person dungeon crawler, and a rare SMT game that has an international cast of characters. The game follows a group of international soldiers and scientists who head to the Arctic, the center of the Schwarzwald, a dimensional anomaly that threatens to consume the Earth. There, the cast gets sucked in and experiences the most strange and horrifying things. The game is a true dark and mature SMT game, and while it doesn't have press turn, the combat is still very engaging. Now we have Shin Megami Tensei 4, which I believe is one of the hardest SMT games. This one gave me some challenge. The game has you run around and explore with full 3D gameplay, but then switches to beautifully illustrated sprite-based combat. This game also brings the return of the press turn system, which is my favorite turn-based battle system. The game also adds the interesting smirk mechanic, which just adds another layer to the gameplay. While I didn't enjoy the first few hours in Naruku, once you get to Tokyo, the game really opens up and becomes something amazing. Now, I did appreciate the way they tried something new and mixed things up with Naruku and starting in the Mikado Kingdom, but things just get better once you move past it. Number 6, we have Digital Devil Saga 2. The sequel to the first Digital Devil Saga game, this game picks up right where you left off, and has a strong start with more mysteries and questions showing up, with you slowly starting to learn more about the junkyard and the reality of this new world. The characters and story of this game are great, but it all falls short of the first game, which leads it to being lower on my list. I can't say more because of spoilers, but if you play both the DDS games, a certain aspect of the gameplay and party members will let you know why I prefer the first game. Now, we're entering the top 5 best SMT games, with number 5, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne HD Edition. The first mainline SMT game I played, and while both versions of the game are great, I'll specifically be putting the HD Remaster here for its quality of life improvements. Nocturne is the game that first created the press turn system that has come to define so many SMT games, and it's excellent to this day. The use of reasons instead of alignments this time around gives the game a unique quality to it, but I 100% recommend going for the true demon ending. It just makes the story flow so much better, and if you don't, it feels like you're missing out on a quarter of the game. Also, let's be real, Demi-Fiend has the best SMT character design, hands down. For number 4, we have Devil Survivor 2 Record Breaker and Devil Survivor 1. I know it's 2 different games, but I love them both, and they're very similar, so I'm putting them here together. Also, it's my list, so I'm going to do it. These games are excellent fun and have some of the most amazing characters that get fleshed out so well and have amazing motivations. See, in Devil Survivor, you can engage in dialogue and bonding events to increase your relationship with characters. That is when you're not battling what I think is one of the best and the most engaging tactical RPG combat systems. These 2 games, I think, are the most similar SMT games to the Persona franchise, and I highly recommend checking them out if you haven't. You take on the role of the main character who's trying to survive the apocalyptic disaster of demons invading your world. And for those of you wondering if I have to choose a favorite, I would pick the second game that just barely nudges out the first one. Barely. On to number 3, Raidou Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless Army. Now, I won't go too into this game, as I have a video review up on my channel, link in the description below, but this game is absolutely fantastic, with the best setting of any SMT game, the Taisho period of Japan. This game is an action RPG, which is rare for the SMT series, and it involves you taking on the role of Raidou Kuzunoha the 14th, a devil summoner from a proud lineage, as he works for the Narumi Detective Agency and looks to solve the supernatural mysteries that are springing up around Japan. And I know I just said this about Nocturne, but Raidou's design is also super cool, and frankly, I just love the atmosphere of this game, with it sucking you in from the start and not letting go. Now we're getting into the top 2, my 2 absolute favorite games in the franchise, starting with Digital Devil Saga, another PS2 game, which I think was the golden age of Atlas games. Now, I already mentioned the second game in the duology, which is great, but it can't even compare to the original Digital Devil Saga. The game may have the best story of any non-Persona SMT game. I know, bold claim, but everything from this game is just gold. From the dynamic, interesting characters that go through so much change and have such interesting dynamics. I loved all of them. You're Surf, one of the 6 tribe leaders in the Junkyard, a place where factions war against each other to ascend to Nirvana. Something happens though, and everyone in the Junkyard, including you, become demons. Or more accurately, part demon, with a hunger that can only be resolved by devouring the other inhabitants of the Junkyard. As I was saying, gold. The press turn system returns here and works wonderfully. Play this game. Now finally, number 1, my absolute favorite and my personal best SMT game, Shin Megami Tensei 5. The newest entry in the mainline series, SMT 5 is my favorite SMT game, and my second favorite JRPG ever. This game has the best RPG battle system I've ever played, period. This is peak press turn SMT combat, with cool mechanics such as allowing you to take on the characteristics of certain demons you have, allowing you to adjust to any enemy. The game also has wonderful areas to explore, and while some people say this game has a lackluster or minimalistic story, I never really thought so. If you go for the true ending, you get to experience the full scope of the story. I think this ending is even more important to get than the true demon ending for Nocturne. I think doing this makes the story super interesting, with an ending that gave me goosebumps and made me gasp out loud. The true ending and the side characters to achieve it add great characterization to some of the characters that, if you get a normal ending, seem to have no real purpose. This may also be the only SMT game where multiple demons felt like they had personalities. And we're not just mobs, but true characters of the game. But overall, the gameplay and atmosphere are king in this game, with I'd say the last third of the game being a step above the rest of an already amazing game. With that, thank you for watching everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the video and learned about some new games you'd like to try. Please leave your lists in the comments below because I'm excited to see everyone's. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day.